Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Chuck Betters, and I'm coming to you from the Ask Dr. Betters YouTube channel. We're over 15,000 subscribers now, and we're just so excited about what God is doing and the level of engagement and the way that you have been sharing and liking and subscribing. We also really enjoy your comments when you interact with the videos. And so today I'm here with my niece, who is also stepping into the role of Executive Director of MARKINC Ministries. And she has done a fantastic job since she started. She really gets it done, and she has such a heart for the ministry. She has a heart to reach the next generation. She is from that next generation. And so we're so thrilled to have her with us today. I just want to introduce her to you and let her tell you about herself. Her name is Danielle Cantler. Welcome, Danielle.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, so just tell us about
Yeah,
yourself. Tell us about your
sure.
family.
Okay, yeah.
Tell
So
us
I'm
about my
married.
it's my great niece. Yes, it's my
Yes,
great
your
niece.
great niece. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm married and I have a little 2-year-old, your great niece, and she's
she is
just,
so
oh my goodness,
precious.
she's
Yep.
just a little spitfire. We've
Hmm.
got our hands full, but she is just amazing. So
Lots of
amazing.
personality there.
Oh yeah, well, she was born on July 4th, so we
Yep.
call her our little firecracker.
Just like your mom. My sister was born on July 4th.
Yes, yeah. And Amelia was actually, she came out 2.5 weeks late, and we said it's just so she could be born on her Situ's birthday. And
Yep.
Situ is Lebanese for grandmother.
Yes.
My mom's carrying on that tradition for her
Hmm.
Situ.
Hmm.
So yeah, we just love family here. We are all about family. We're all about the sentimental value of it. So
Hmm.
we're definitely establishing that in Amelia's life.
Yeah, I remember the day that she was born. We were all over at Granddad's house. Granddad's the original Ask Dr. Betters.
Yes.
And so we were there, and I remember we were just waiting on pins and needles for the phone call. You were in labor, and so July 4th is always a special holiday for us. We all gather together, and it was honestly a really funny scene. I
Yeah.
remember sitting next to Granddad, and we got the call, and I think it was from your mom with you
Yeah.
on the phone, and you guys were announcing that Amelia had been born, and Granddad he just started crying, and he doesn't cry a whole
Oh,
lot, but he
no, he
started crying,
doesn't.
and it was really loud in that room. And then my son-in-law Johnny walked in, and he's just filled with life. I mean, this guy's just filled with life and joy. And he was totally decorated in the American flag, and he had no idea what was going on. He had no idea there was a call, and he walks in and he says, "Happy Independence Day, everyone!" And everyone starts like clapping, and Granddad's crying, and Johnny looks at him like, "What's going on?" And it's like, "Would you just be quiet? I just learned about I guess
Oh
great granddaughter for
no.
him.
Great
Yeah,
granddaughter.
great
Yep.
granddaughter." So
First
yeah,
great
I mean, family
granddaughter.
is so important, and just having you involved. But it's not just family, but it's having someone as professional as you and somebody who is as passionate about the ministry as you are. And so we're just so thrilled to have you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the position that you've taken with Mark Inc. and what some of your responsibilities are and what lies ahead?
Okay, well, the position that I am stepping into, as you said, is executive director. So basically, I am going to be making sure that the ministry is running smoothly and we are continuing to reach the people that need it the most through the help and hope of Jesus.
Hmm.
There's so many hurtful people out there. They have been through some very, very traumatic times and they just feel completely stuck and completely alone. I personally have been there myself. It's one of the reasons why I am just pushing all of my energy into this amazing ministry because I don't want one single person to know or to feel like they are completely alone because you're not. You are
Yeah,
not alone. We
yeah.
are here. We can help you with your walk in faith of Jesus, and we can also help you emotionally and spiritually. We have so many free, amazing resources that we push to just reach that one more person.
Hmm.
Um, so, as executive director, it is my goal to reach all of these people. We have to start small and we start expanding. And I say small, but we are over 15,000 subscribers here on Ask Dr. Betters. And that is just a miracle. Like, that is
Yes,
just
it is.
amazing.
Hmm.
So, I'm reaching out to you 15,000 plus people and letting you know you are not alone. I am here. I am ready to help, and I'm welcoming you to our MARKINC family, because that's what we are. We are a family, and we want everybody to have that same family feeling.
Yes.
Because not a lot of people have a good family. I mean, I
Yeah.
grew up in a great family. I love my family. I have been through some pretty traumatic times, but I always had my family to lean back on. But not a
Yeah.
lot of people do. I mean, my husband, he grew up with no family. You know, he had a couple of people here and there, but nobody he could really rely on and depend on.
Hmm.
And he never had that unconditional love feeling. So knowing somebody who's personally felt that way, it just drives me even more to want to really push and help people see, you know, you're not alone, and we have something that can help you.
There's so much loneliness as I read through the questions that are submitted through Ask Dr. Betters. Many times people will write more than one or two sentences. They'll write a whole paragraph
Mm-hmm.
or two, and they share. You can just see and you can just sense as you're reading the words, there's such a brokenness there to many of them. And as a pastor, it just made me just step back a little bit as I was reading through the questions and just think, is the church, are people slipping through the cracks? Because
Mm.
it's most of the questions. It's most of the people sending the questions. There's a deep longing there for a deeper faith. There's a deep longing there for moving beyond pat, cliched answers.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a lot of loneliness and just hurt there. And so it just made me wonder, like, are we missing the mark in the church and in Christianity many times? And this isn't a criticism, it's just a question because I've
Mm-hmm.
been part of it. So I'm just in a season right now where I'm just listening a lot, and reading through the questions has really helped me to say, okay, are we really hitting the questions that people are actually asking?
Right, right. And that's one of the benefits of this platform is if they do fall through the cracks at their own church, you know, they can fall back on Ask Dr. Betters. And now we have
Mhm.
two doctors. So, you know, give us more questions. Give us as many questions as you want. I will make these two work.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I love it. I love how you push us and push the staff, and it's just really helped me because I'm an artist, and
Yes.
so many times I'm all over the place. But I get your emails and Google Drives and all the administrative stuff. And I'm like, oh my goodness, got to get on. I got to get on this stuff. But
What did I sign up for?
yeah, what should I sign up for exactly? How has it been to essentially work with your grandparents? Don't talk about how it's been to work with your uncle, because we all know that's been amazing. But
Oh, perfect.
as we have a meeting scheduled for right after this, to go over
Uh-huh.
all of it. How has it been to work with? I'm going to call them what you call them, Grammy and Granddad.
Oh my goodness. It's just been absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I seriously cannot thank God enough for putting me in this position.
Hmm.
It came at the right time in life, and it just, you know, both of them have their health issues, and I had been wondering, how am I going to spend more time with my grandparents
Hmm.
while working a full-time job, while
Wow.
raising a baby and keeping my family together, and, you know, all the normal life things. It's very
Yes.
difficult. And I'm
Yes.
sure a lot of people ask the same question: how can I make time for these people that mean so much to me?
Right.
And God kind of just said, here you go. You know, there's a
Oh, I
job
never thought of it
opening.
that way. That's a really
Yeah.
great way of putting it.
Yeah. And it's
That's
just been
profound.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I talk to my grandparents now every single day. I
Wow.
meet with them weekly. We have dinners all the time. And
Mm.
it's not all about work, but the
Right.
fact that I work with them makes it easier for me to have personal time with them,
Yeah.
because it just flows better and connects better. You know, they get to spend more time with their great granddaughter.
Hmm.
And it's just really been amazing. It's
Yeah,
really
one of
been
the
great.
things that I've learned, and I've shared this before, and I'll just share it again. But I know that you're from the younger generation, so you're not from the what generation? How old are you now?
I'm 27.
27. So you would be like
I'm
borderline
in
millennial.
between.
Yeah, you're in between. And so I'm from Generation X, and granddad, of course, is from the boomer generation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love studying those generational issues where there's a lot of misunderstanding amongst generations. And many times it's just because of the way that the different ways that we've been raised and all of that. And what I encourage younger people with is to just honor the older generation and sit at their feet and listen. I've told pastors, I've said, if you want one piece of advice from me, do this. Take a yellow legal pad. Don't even take your computer. Like, forget technology. Pretend you're in the 1980s. Okay. Yellow legal pad. Go over to my dad's house. Ask him to just start talking to you about
Mm,
being a pastor. And hopefully he's visited your church, or maybe he even attends your church, and have him tell you everything that he sees that you're doing right, that you're doing wrong. Tell him to, tell you everything he knows about all the people there, which ones to watch out for, which ones, all
yeah.
of it. Don't say a word. Don't debate. Don't, nothing. And then go do all of it. Now,
Mm-hmm.
your granddad loves it when he hears me say that, because when I was your age and I was working for him, I always had all the best ideas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't learn, I didn't always listen. He
Mm.
would say that, and he didn't always listen either. But
He
but
doesn't
there's
listen a
just
lot.
so much wisdom there in that generation, and specifically in my parents and the original Ask Dr. Betters
Yes.
and his wife. And so I
Yes,
just
I
think it's
completely
great
agree.
that you have taken that approach.
Well, I mean, they're not just, my grandparents. They are these very wise people that I can go to for advice on anything. I mean,
Right.
granddad's the one person I would go to and
Yep.
ask a very deep biblical question because I
Yep.
know that he's going to answer as truthfully as he possibly can with
Right.
actual facts from God's word.
Yep.
And I remember he always used to say when he was preaching, he would get up on the pulpit and he'd usually say it in his prayer at the beginning or the end, and he would say something along the lines of, "Please, dear Lord, let everyone hear only the truth. If
Yep.
I have spoken something that is not the truth, please let their ears be deaf to it."
Right.
And that just really, spoke volumes to me because he's going to preach, he's going to talk, he's going to say what he believes and trust that the Lord is guiding him in the correct manner. And if
Hmm.
anything he says is not truthful or the Lord did not want, that he asks the Lord, please let it fall on deaf ears, but let them hear what they need to hear. Let them hear what you want them to hear. And anytime he talks, I'm always taking into account of that. Okay, if he's speaking, I know that I need to hear this. This
Well,
is
what's really
something that
cool
I
is that
need.
those people who are watching, you don't know my dad, you don't know Dr. Betters like I do, or like
Mm,
Danielle does. And so, what I'm here to tell you is that he's the real deal. I mean, he
mm.
is what you see is legitimately what you get. When you
Yes.
watch him on Ask Dr. Betters, that's exactly who he is.
Hmm.
I've always noticed that about him, that he's the same person all the time. I mean, maybe not all the time, because none of us are have that much integrity and they're that perfect. But he truly is the real deal, and so he's very trustworthy as far as especially now when you see so many pastors and so many ministry leaders where they act one way on the camera, one way on the stage, and a totally
Mm-hmm.
different way. I mean, look at some of these documentaries that are coming out about some of these pastors and some of these ministries, and it just makes me so thankful for my dad and for the man that he is. And so, speaking to that, Danielle, when you think about the next generation and the younger generation, what is it that you hope to accomplish as far as reaching the youth? Keeping in mind, obviously, that we know that there's so much wisdom in the older generations, including my generation, by the way.
Hmm.
Um,
Yes.
what can we learn? I'm like, what can we learn from you guys, though, too? Like, there's so much to learn, and we have to move the ministry into the future. So, how can we
Yeah.
learn from the next generation?
Well, I mean, one thing that I feel like I've noticed as I'm getting older and as I'm learning through life is each generation learns from the generation before them.
Hmm.
And one thing that I believe my generation's pretty good at is finding those things that they want to learn from, that they want to change. Somebody has a kid and they don't want to raise that kid the same way their parents raised them. So they learn from their mistakes and they try something different. Maybe it's better, maybe it's worse. It's all about finding what we believe and finding ourselves, because some people, don't even know who they are yet. They're growing up. I didn't know who I was until, shoot, I'm still figuring myself out.
Of
It's
course, me too.
it's a constant learning process.
Hmm.
And I can look at, maybe my mom made some mistakes in her life. I don't know if she did or not, but if I come to her with a problem I'm having, she can share that mistake with me and I can learn from it and not make the same mistake. So something that I believe is really important for our generation is to just keep learning and to keep working to do better and to keep walking in our faith with Jesus and finding the correct people that can help you down that path.
Yeah,
Because the devil is everywhere. I mean, he could
yeah.
be in anyone.
One of the things that granddad, my dad, said to me is something similar from the prayer that you mentioned. He said that the thing to do is to take all of the things that they did as parents that were good and carry those over to your parenting, and take the things that were bad and ignore those, or to
Hmm.
change those, and to not ignore those, but you got to break the chains. You got to break the sin cycle. And so that each generation does it better.
Right.
Um, and so there really wasn't much, I have to be honest, there really wasn't much that I didn't carry over to my own parenting, but there were things, and there were things that we built on in parenting. And so I think it's the same way as just, building into the next generation.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of the people in my generation, they don't want to listen to the older generations because they can only see the mistakes. So, exactly what you just said, we have to see all of it. We have to take
Hmm.
everything into account and see the bigger picture. Only take what is good and then
Right.
learn from what is bad.
Hmm.
Granddad is far from perfect. He'll tell you that too. Nobody's perfect. The
No.
only one who is perfect is Jesus.
Right.
But he's got a lot of wisdom and he's got a lot of good to him. So if you ever hear something that you don't like, don't let that completely damage your image of him. Don't let that completely shut you off from all of these amazing resources that we're producing.
Hmm.
It's just one thing. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody says things that people don't believe in. Everybody has a different opinion, and that's okay. We can all get along and be happy and still take in all the wisdom that we can receive from our older generations and still have our own opinion.
Yeah.
My parents and my grandparents tell me things that I don't, necessarily believe with or agree with all the time, but that's okay. I still trust them. And
Hmm.
then I feel safe enough to tell them, okay, I don't really agree with that, but that's okay. It's not damaging my image of you. I still love you. I still respect you. But
Hmm.
that one thing I have a different opinion on.
Yeah. So, as you look back on your life, how do you believe that God was uniquely preparing you for this role? And then share anything else that you want to share, I guess, in closing here. Anything else that's on your heart?
Okay. Well, that's a big question
Yeah.
because my life the past few years have been a complete and total roller coaster. I mean,
Hmm.
we're going up, then we're going down, down, like all the way to the core of the earth. It's just, it's been some crazy times. But when
Yes.
I look back on it, it's okay. Something Grammy always says, to bring the beauty from the ashes.
Yep.
Those hard times I went through, it was preparing me for this job, preparing me to help more people and say, I get it. I feel you. I feel what you're feeling, and it's okay. You will make it through this, and
Right.
I can help you find the help and hope through Jesus.
It's
We
awesome.
have the resources to help you.
Yeah.
My husband, he's a recovering addict. So that right there, that
Yes.
that is
It's a lot.
hard.
Yep.
That is very, very hard. But
Hmm.
he is an amazing dad and he's
Yes.
a great husband. He's trying every single day to do better. And that
Has
It's
he
something
changed
that
his ways when it comes to being a Cowboys fan? Because that's all I care about.
no, he
Oh,
still has the tattoo.
yeah.
Cowboys fan forever.
Cowboys fan forever. Well, hopefully, maybe someday in Amelia's lifetime, she'll see the Cowboys win a playoff game or two. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe. We'll see. They're a little rocky that way.
Yes, they are.
But with him being a recovering addict and going through all those hard times, all he's doing is learning from those hard times and bringing the beauty from the ashes. He's
It's great.
pushing to help other addicts. And that's the same thing with me. I went through times that I felt completely and totally alone. And one of the things that brought me back was listening to the MARKINC resources. This was
Hmm.
before I was even offered a job. This
Right.
was when I still had a rocky relationship with my grandparents. We weren't talking all the time. We barely even connected. That's when I was thinking, how can I see them more? How can I do better? But
Mm.
then, I started listening to the MARKINC resources. I started finding the help and hope in Jesus again. I started working on my relationship with Jesus. I started working on myself
Yeah.
and only worrying about my actions.
Hmm.
And then I was offered a job, a job opening. Well, I wasn't quite offered it. It opened up. They asked if we knew anybody, and I said, hey, I'll do it. Why
Hmm.
not? I
Yep.
might not know, but I'm going to learn. I knew how to do it all, thankfully, but
Yeah. Yeah.
so it just, yeah, I mean, God really did. I look back at all these things, and instead of being angry, I'm so incredibly thankful. I'm
Hmm.
I'm okay that I went through hard times. I'm okay that I was stressed out and tired and feeling alone and lost, because it led me to the place I'm supposed to be today. And
Hmm.
hopefully through that, I can help other people find where they're supposed to be as well.
It's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Danielle. And like I said, we're just so thrilled to have you on board. And Mark Inc. is really doing really well right now, and it's flourishing. It's been incredible to see what God has been doing. I know that a lot of ministry leaders will say that ministry's going great when it really isn't. But I can tell you that it's really rocking and rolling right now.
It is.
We've had some really great donors that have come through. Many people are giving towards the ministry. Small gifts, very, very large gifts. And we're just so thankful for all of them. There's many different aspects to Mark Inc. There's the Help and Hope podcast. There's Ask Dr. Betters. I'm working on something that we're going to be rolling out when it's ready. Danielle will be pushing me in that direction, but
Yes,
it's
I
going to be
will.
good. I've been starting with that, and I'm really excited about that. And so, and then Anchored Hope, which is an affiliate of Mark Inc. It was founded by my dad, and that is booming as well. And so,
Hmm.
you don't always see it, when it comes to social media. A lot of times people will gauge things by social media. And I've learned since I stopped being a pastor and I watch social media and I see different organizations that you can't gauge anything by that.
Hmm.
There's just so much going on behind the scenes that is really, really exciting. So thank you for joining us. And again, thank you, Danielle.
Yes,
And we,
thank you.
all right. And we pray that God will richly bless all of you who are watching. Share, like, and subscribe. Ask Dr. Betters. God bless.
Hello, my name is Danielle Cantler, team member here at MARKINC Ministries. Thank you so much for your continued support of this video series. Ask Dr. Betters is not meant to be a substitute for professional counseling, but instead is designed to extract the biblical principles around the questions being asked. We encourage you to seek professional counseling if needed. Professional counselors are ready to assist you at Anchored Hope Biblical Counseling. See the links below for more information on Anchored Hope and all of the free resources we offer here at MARKINC Ministries. Thank you for watching and welcome to the MARKINC family.